Let's be real. You've probably been called lazy, maybe more times than you can count, right? For that messy desk, for muttering to yourself, for just needing to be alone with your thoughts. But what if I told you those aren't flaws?
Okay, let's really get into this, because what if it's actually a sign of a superior mind? Psychology is starting to suggest that some of these, let's call them lazy habits, are actually markers of high intelligence. Yeah, signs of a brain that's just wired differently, operating on a level that most people just don't get. A level where all these behaviors, they have a very real purpose.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to decode the hidden logic behind your habits. We'll look at the method behind the mess, the complexity swimming around in your head, the real meaning behind the silence, and that powerful, unshakable drive you have for the truth.
All right, first up, the classic, the messy desk. You know the line, messy space equals a messy mind. But let's pull back the curtain on that one, because we need to reframe what's really going on here.
So yeah, the myth is super simple. Your space is a disaster, so you must be too. End of story. But the reality? The psychological reality is that you're actually practicing something way more sophisticated. It's a little something called selective organization. And this gets to a really cool idea, mental efficiency. See, highly intelligent brain just instinctively knows not to waste energy on organizing everything equally. It's smart. It saves that precious mental horsepower for structuring what actually matters, your big ideas, your digital systems, those complex projects you're working on. And the surface stuff, a few papers on a desk, it just lets that be. This isn't chaos, not at all. It's a super strategic way of prioritizing your brain power. Okay, so we've talked about your external world. Now let's move inside, into your internal world. This next part is all about the really unique way your brain chews on information. A process that is incredibly powerful, but yeah, it's almost always misinterpreted by everyone else.
So if anyone has ever told you that you overthink things, listen up, this one's for you. Because it's probably not just anxiety. It's a specific trait called cognitive complexity. It basically means your mind is hyper-connected. It just won't rest until it sees every single angle of the full picture. You're not stuck spinning your wheels, you're actually practicing what's called cognitive reflection. You're challenging your first impulse to find the absolute best path forward.
And this connects perfectly to another one of those weird habits. Talking to yourself. It's not weird at all. It's actually a super structured process. Think about it. First, you capture a big abstract thought. Then you engage your verbal reasoning to actually give it some shape. And boom, you get mental clarity. It's like a secret shortcut to staying focused and solving tricky problems way faster. This internal wiring also explains another classic trait, the rabbit hole obsession. You know what I'm talking about, right? You get obsessed with a new topic, dive super deep for a few days, and then, once you feel like you've got it, you just move on. Well, that's not a short attention span. That's your brain's powerful curiosity system kicking into high gear. Every time you learn something new, you get a little dopamine hit, feeding this deep intellectual hunger for mastery, especially in a world that loves to just skim the surface. Okay, so how does all this inner complexity play out in, social situations? Let's talk about the habits that get you slapped with labels like shy or antisocial or maybe even arrogant, when the truth is there's something way deeper happening under the surface. I love this next thought. It's so important. You're not avoiding people. You're entering a deeper thinking state. See, taking those long walks alone or just craving solitude, it has nothing to do with being lazy or trying to escape people. It's about flipping a switch, activating your brain's creative and problem-solving networks. You're literally giving your mind the quiet space it needs to connect the dots, free from all that shallow noise. And this is exactly why you can't stand small talk. It's not you being rude, it's about conserving your energy. Your brain is wired to seek depth, to find new ideas. And honestly, that surface-level chit-chat can feel absolutely draining. So while you might look quiet in a group, what you're really doing is using something called observational intelligence. You're actively processing all the little details, the tone, the emotions, the logic, just waiting for a topic that's interesting enough to really hook your mind. All right, let's get to our final theme. And this one is a biggie. It's all about your relationship with rules, with tradition, and with that dreaded phrase, well, that's just how we've always done it. Because at your core, this is basically your operating system. You seek truth, not popularity. Really intelligent minds almost never accept something just because it's tradition. You've got this built-in need to question systems, to poke at norms, all because you value what's real and logical, way more than what's just popular or easy. And there's a psychological term for this driver.
A high internal locus of evaluation. It's a fancy way of saying that your sense of what's right, your sense of self-worth, it comes from inside you, from your own tough standards, not from getting a pat on the back from someone else. So what looks like laziness about following the rules is actually a non-stop, relentless search for the truth.
So let's put it all together now. Let's create the new blueprint for your mind. That messiness, that's actually selective focus. That overthinking, it's cognitive reflection. The solitude you crave, that's deep processing. Avoiding small talk, that's observational intelligence. And questioning all the rules, that is your powerful drive for truth. That's the real you.
Look, if any of this, or all of this, sounds familiar, then I really want you to hear this. You are not broken. You're not lazy. You are not antisocial. Your habits aren't flaws. They are the blueprint of a unique and brilliant mind, a mind that values privacy, peace, and real progress over just performing for an audience.
And that leaves us with one last question, something for you to chew on. Now that you've got this new way of looking at things, what other flaws are your hidden strengths? What other parts of you that people have criticized might actually be your secret superpowers?